You never meant for it to become part of you. It just happened. One day it was a hobby, something fun, a phase maybe. And then one afternoon turned into a weekend, then into a routine, then into a need. Now the thought of not riding feels like someone cutting the oxygen a little too short. You don't talk about it much. People wouldn't get it. They think it's about speed or danger or that desperate need to be seen. But it's not. It's about that moment, just after the engine fires and before the first turn, when the world goes quiet inside your head. Not silent, just quiet enough that you can hear yourself again. That version of you that isn't always worried, always chasing, always pretending to be fine. On the bike, you don't have to explain anything. You don't have to smile. You don't even have to think. You just ride. And with every mile, the weight you carry feels a little lighter. Not gone, just distant, manageable. Like maybe it never owned you after all. Like maybe you were always stronger than you thought. You didn't find therapy. You found a throttle. And somehow, that was enough. Sometimes it doesn't even matter where you go. You don't need a destination, a plan, or a reason. You just know you need to leave. So you throw on the jacket that still smells like the last ride, strap on a helmet, and fire it up. No one's waiting for you. No one even knows you left. And that's the point. You take the long road out of town, the one that winds past fields and cracked fences and gas stations that still have analog pumps. You're not chasing anything. You're just getting away from everything you didn't sign up for. Emails, appointments, smiling on days you don't feel like it. And somewhere out there, after the fifth or sixth bend, something shifts. The bike stops being a tool, starts being part of your body. The road stops being scenery and becomes a lifeline. Your thoughts slow down, your shoulders drop, your hands relax. You notice how the sun warms your back and how the wind smells like cut grass and hot rubber. And for the first time in days, maybe weeks, you feel okay. Not amazing, not fixed, but okay. And that's all you were looking for. It's funny how the bike teaches you things you were never trying to learn. Like patience. When you're stuck behind a truck on a one-lane road with no shoulder and no chance to pass, you want to scream, but you don't. You wait. You breathe. You realize not every fight needs to be picked. Like humility. When you drop it at a gas station with everyone watching, you curse under your breath, pick it up, and nod at the guy pretending not to laugh. You ride off embarrassed, but a little wiser. Like presence. When you're carving corners and your mind tries to wander, and the road immediately reminds you, if you're not here, you're nowhere. You snap back, eyes up, throttle ready. No lecture ever taught you that. No book, no parent. Just the bike. It holds you accountable in a way nothing else does. You can lie to yourself all day long in regular life. Say you're fine, you're focused, you're in control. But the bike knows. It knows when you're tense. It knows when you're distracted. And it doesn't pretend. It just responds. Truth, instant and mechanical. You learn or you suffer. Simple as that. And weirdly, you're grateful for it. There's a certain kind of silence that only happens after the engine cuts off. Not the silence of a quiet room. Not the kind where your ears ring because everything's too still. This one's different. It's earned. It hums with afterglow. You sit there, helmet still on, gloves still tight, staring at the place you've stopped. Some overlook, some gravel pull-off, maybe just the side of the road where the light hit right, and the world feels paused, like it's waiting for you to catch up. Your heartbeat is still echoing in your ears. Your skin still buzzes with the wind. The bike ticks as it cools down, like it's exhaling with you. Nothing's wrong, nothing's urgent. And in that exact moment, you remember what peace feels like. Not the kind you chase in apps or yoga classes or self-help books. The real kind. The kind that doesn't require effort. Just motion. Just presence. Just you, a machine, and some stretch of earth doesn't ask questions. Sometimes you don't even get off the bike. You just sit there, visor fogged, thinking about nothing and everything. And then, when you're ready, you press the starter again. And just like that, you're back in motion. There's something sacred about riding through a place no one else seems to notice. Not the famous mountain roads or coastal highways with drone shots and hashtags. Just a forgotten back road that cuts through fields, or the narrow ribbon between two small towns where the speed limit doesn't matter and the trees lean in close. You wouldn't call it beautiful, not in the way postcards are, but it feels real, honest, like the world before it got curated. Cracked pavement, faded signs, maybe a rusted out truck half swallowed by weeds. No one's there to impress you. It just exists, unbothered. And for some reason, those are the roads that stay with you. You don't post about them. You don't even always remember their names. But they hold pieces of you. Versions of yourself you dropped off on the way to nowhere in particular. Every rider has a road like that. A place that felt like it was speaking only to them, even if it was just a curve and a cornfield. And when you're sitting at work weeks later, bored out of your mind, that's the road you'll think about. The smell of it, the curve of it, the way it made everything else feel far away. Like home, but moving. Sometimes the ride hurts, not in a poetic, soul-searching way. Physically, your knees ache, your throttle hand goes numb, your back reminds you that you're not 20 anymore, and your helmet feels like a vice around your skull after 3 hours. And yet, you don't stop. You stretch at gas stations, shake out your fingers, maybe mutter a few curses, but you keep going, because deep down, you know the ache is part of it. Like proof that you were in it. That you didn't just observe the world. You moved through it, felt it in your bones. Pain reminds you you're not made of glass. That discomfort doesn't mean danger. That joy and effort are sometimes the same thing. You get home, sore, exhausted, maybe even limping. But when you peel off your gear and catch your reflection, hair matted, face dirty, eyes alive, you don't look broken. You look real. Because some rides beat you up a little, not enough to break you, just enough to remind you that you're alive. And honestly, in a life that's too often padded and predictable, a little soreness feels like a gift. There's a quiet intimacy in riding with someone you trust. Not just anyone. Not the guy who tailgates you in a group ride, or the friend who thinks every corner's a race. Someone who gets it. Someone who doesn't need to talk about formations or speed or where you're headed. You just ride. Maybe they lead, maybe you do. But somehow you both end up in a rhythm, breaking at the same time, leaning into the same curves, nodding silently at the same gas station without a word. It's a conversation without language, a friendship built 1 mile at a time. And sometimes, you'll stop at the same diner you've been to a dozen times, order the same food, laugh at the same dumb jokes. But it feels different when you got there together. Because out there, on the road, you're not roles. You're not best friends or siblings or partners. You're just two riders chasing the same horizon, content in the hum of the motor and the knowledge that someone's back there, or up ahead, watching out for you. It's rare, and when you find it, you don't take it for granted. Because shared silence on two wheels, that's deeper than most people's loudest words. The weather app said it was a bad idea. Too cold, too windy, maybe even rain coming in. You looked at it, shrugged, and went anyway. Because some days, the ride isn't about comfort. It's about defiance. You zip up the jacket, double-check your gloves, and head out into air that bites at your neck. The wind pushes harder than usual, but it doesn't matter. In fact, you welcome it. Let it fight you a little. Let it test how much you really want to be out there. And as the miles tick on, something strange happens. The cold stops bothering you. Your body adjusts. The wind stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like clarity. The road, empty and gray, feels like it belongs to you alone. People think riding is about perfect conditions, clear skies, dry roads, warm sun. But the best rides, the ones that make you feel invincible, are the ones where the world told you, not today. And you said, watch me. It's not recklessness. It's not ego. It's just the stubborn, unshakable need to be out there anyway. Even when the sky frowns. Even when logic says stay home. Because that's when you remember who you are. You ever notice how time bends on a motorcycle? A 10-minute ride can feel more like an hour. A whole afternoon can vanish in what feels like seconds. The same stretch of road you've ridden 100 times somehow looks different today. More golden, more alive. Like the light hit it just right and decided to let you in on the secret. It's not the clock that changes. It's you. Because riding pulls you out of the timeline everyone else is stuck in. The meetings, the messages, the countdown to the next thing. On the bike, there's no next. There's only now. This gear, this bend, this breath. And when you finally stop and pull off the helmet, the world rushes back in. Emails, noise, obligation. But for a while, you were somewhere else. Not a place exactly. More like a state of being. You weren't late. You weren't early. You weren't behind or ahead. You just were. And maybe that's what keeps calling you back. Not just the thrill, not even the peace, but the freedom to exist outside the clock, even if it's only for an hour. Because sometimes that hour is the only part of the day that actually feels real. There's a strange kind of therapy in fixing something with your own hands. Not because you're trying to be a mechanic, not because it saves money, though sometimes it does. But because sitting down with your bike, tools spread out, hands stained and knuckles scraped, makes the world quiet in a different way. You're not thinking about what went wrong in your week. You're not replaying arguments or stressing about things you can't control. You're listening to the click of a ratchet, the hiss of a drain line, the soft creak of a chain that needs attention. It's a conversation. One without words. You tighten a bolt and the bike says, "Thank you." You find a leak, and the bike says, "Good catch." You torque something just right, and the bike says, "We're ready." You stand up with a sore back, grease on your jaw, and for once, you feel useful. Not because someone told you so, but because you know something works better now because of you. It's easy to feel powerless in this world. But when you rebuild a brake caliper, or chase down an electrical gremlin, or just change your own damn oil, you remember that your hands can still fix things. And that's no small thing. You ever park your bike, walk away, and then stop, just to turn around and look at it one more time? It's not vanity. You're not showing off. There's nobody else there. It's just you and the machine. And something about it makes you pause. The way the sun hits the tank, curve of the tail, the way it sits there like it's alive, like it's waiting. You stare for a second longer than you mean to, then smile to yourself and keep walking. It's a quiet kind of pride, the kind that doesn't need to be said out loud. Because that bike is yours. You picked it, you ride it, you've bled on it, cursed at it, polished it, trusted it. It's not perfect, might not even be pretty, but it's yours. And no matter what kind of day you had, that one glance reminds you, you built this little pocket of freedom into your life. It doesn't matter what car you drive, what house you live in, how your job's going. You've got a machine that turns keys into silence, tension into peace, and gas into therapy. That's more than most people can say. Not every ride is a story worth telling. Some are short, uneventful. No perfect roads, no deep thoughts, no moments that shift your worldview. Just a simple loop around the block, maybe to clear your head or run a dumb errand you didn't really need to do on the bike, but did anyway. And still, when you get back, something feels different. You didn't escape your problems. You didn't have an epiphany, but the static in your brain is quieter. Your breath is slower. The sharp edges of the day feel a little more rounded off. You didn't ride for fun. You rode for function. Because sometimes the difference between a good day and a terrible one is just 15 minutes in second gear. No sweeping vistas, no perfect soundtrack. Just asphalt, wind, and a few quiet blocks to remind you that control still exists somewhere in your life. People think therapy is always a big breakthrough, a revelation, a fix. But riders know better. Sometimes therapy is just starting the engine when you don't feel like it. Sitting on the seat, even when you're tired. Riding anyway. Because you know something most people don't. A short ride is still a ride. And sometimes, that's all you need. One day, you'll hang up the helmet. Not today, maybe not for years, but someday, the rides will get fewer. The miles will slow. The bike might sit a little longer in the garage between starts. And that day will ache in a different way. Not like soreness or heartbreak, but like the quiet loss of something that shaped you. But here's the thing. The road won't forget you, and you won't forget it. Because riding doesn't just live in your hands or knees or balance. It lives in the way you see the world. The way you scan a corner, even when you're walking. The way you feel tension like revs building under your skin. The way you still smile when you hear an engine echo through a tunnel. It never leaves you. You'll pass someone on a bike and feel it all at once. That pull in your chest. That sense of, God, I miss that. And maybe you will ride again. Maybe not. But either way, it gave you something permanent. Freedom, focus, escape, joy. A version of yourself that was stronger, wilder, simpler. That's why you'll never really quit riding. Because once the bike teaches you who you are, you don't forget.